I like feeling the G-forces.
Atlanta only comes once a year.
I like to drive fast. I guess you have to be crazy, first of all.
Man against man.
When you do it, and you do it right, boy, it's the best turn-on in the whole world.
From Road Atlanta in the foothills of the Blue Mountains, TBS Sports brings you the phenomenal 1980 SCCA race year, the Champion Spark Plug Road Racing Classic, brought to you by the Champion Spark Plug Company. Champion, you can't buy a better plug. And by Datsun, where you'll find that in all the 1981 Datsuns, the greatest economy of all is quality. And by Pioneer Car Stereo, the developers of Super Tuner technology for the best sound going.
This quiet, serene North Georgia countryside is about to explode in the world's largest sports car racing competition. The nation's finest amateur drivers are here at Road Atlanta with one common goal: winning in the Olympics of road racing. Hello, I'm Mike Joy. For the 11th consecutive year, the Sports Car Club of America has come here just north of Atlanta to decide its 22 national driving champions. WTBS Sports is privileged to be the first to offer extensive television coverage of the Champion Spark Plug Road Racing Classic. For the next hour, and in a 2-hour special next Saturday afternoon, you'll see many of the 600 drivers that are here competing. In addition, several world-class professional drivers are here to watch the action, including my co-host, David Hobbs.
SCCA amateur drivers come from all walks of life: doctors, dentists, airline pilots, even one well-known blue-eyed movie actor. But when they get here on the black asphalt of Road Atlanta, all those financial and social differences mean nothing, because here they're a dedicated, enthusiastic band of racing drivers. Most have spent hours of their own time working on their cars, some assisted by usually unpaid help. Some have traveled thousands of miles to get here, also on their own money. But to get here, you've got to be the cream of the crop. In 6 divisional races, you must have scored enough points to be invited here. And 22 drivers are going to leave here as the national champion. No money, just a plaque saying national champion. This is a championship course. I've raced on every major racing facility in North America, and in my opinion, Road Atlanta is the most challenging and the most difficult to learn. And you're going to see it from inside, from outside, from overhead, like no one's ever seen it before. In the pits, we have an SCCA expert, Jim Hutto, who's going to give you some more in-depth knowledge of the drivers and the cars here at Road Atlanta.
The cars are as varied as the people driving them. Some of them are just like the one you drive or the one parked in your neighbor's driveway, but still others are limited only to the imagination of the car owners and the pit crew. That's why I find SCCA racing so exciting, as do the people involved in it here. Today we'll be looking at 2 classes of activity, the Formula class in one of them and a sports car class, but I'll be explaining more about that in detail later on in the show. There are 5 categories of competition divided into 22 classes, and we'll be taking an inside look at the machines, the drivers, and the crew from right here in the pit area. So stay with us. We have the best that road racing has to offer coming up for you.
The challenging Road Atlanta course is 2.5 miles long, with 8 right-hand and 2 left-hand turns. We're standing at the start-finish line, where the cars come rolling downhill toward the treacherous, oh my God, turn number 1, as the drivers call it. Uphill through the Georgia countryside and through the S's. We're out of turn number 5, a short burst of speed to the hook at the south end of the course. And then on to the longest straightaway, a 5,000-foot ribbon of asphalt through turn number 9, the fastest point on the course, and then down to the bridge, a virtually blind corner which leads sharply downhill to the critical point on this race course, turn number 12, where races are won and lost, and back to the start-finish line. David Hobbs is out on the course to give us a closer look.
This is the approach of turn 2 and 3 here at Road Atlanta, and this is the sort of thing that makes it a very tricky course. As you can see, all skyline. Quick left-hand sweep here. Some of these racing cars braking extremely hard through here. getting themselves set up for this nasty little right-hander. And as soon as another right-hander, hard on the gas, and then round this long left-hander. Starting to go downhill here. Over this high-speed brow, swing right, flip the apex, apex again, and again braking hard as they come through this right-hand sweep to turn 5. A left-hand, third gear corner, on the sky again. This piece of track's relatively straightforward except for those two blind brows where if you're unfortunate, somebody just may be going slowly just over the top of one of those hills. Brake hard to turn 7. This corner's slightly banked like an Indianapolis turn, and so it's faster than it looks, but it's rather spoiled by the close proximity of turn 7, which is a lot slower. This is the slowest corner on the track. Second gear, hard acceleration. Up onto the main straight, quote unquote. As you can see, your left-hand sweep. A nasty blind brow here. And there's the full expanse of the straight in front of it. Full-blooded racing cars are getting up to 185 down here, and the H production are probably doing about 100. The straight turns into this right-hand sweep, which starts to drop away. The road here is starting to go downhill. Then we have a sharp drop-off here, at the bottom of which is a rather gut-wrenching dip at speed. The road swings left, up to the bridge, where a lot of action takes place in these races. This is a right-hand corner on the top of a hill, and also has the pit exit leading off it. Down into the last turn, the most crucial turn for lots of these guys on these 18-lap races. This is where the race is going to be won or lost. Right here, where the checkered flag is going to fly for 22 lucky people.
With Bob Sharp for Bob Sharp Racing and the Pioneer Car Stereo Datsun.
Some of the best racing you'll see is about to get underway.
The engines have fired and the cars begin to move out from the starting grid for the Formula Vee feature event that will decide the national championship in this class. Ron Feeney, car number 81 from Douglasville, Pennsylvania, is the pole sitter. He's a builder and brings 2 wins in 4 seconds in 1980 to Road Atlanta. 32 years old, he won the pole by a scant 16/100ths of a second. Don Pepperdene, car number 13 from Monterey, California, will start on the outside pole. In third, Bill Noble of Manhattan, Kansas, car number 00. In fourth, the 79 of Ford Smith from Roselle Park, New Jersey. Fifth starter is Bill Pryor out of Carmel Valley, California, car number 19. Sixth starter, car number 5 from Ham Lake, Minnesota, John Hogdal. In seventh is 35 John Vanderkar of Amherst, New Hampshire. The 8th starter, Scott Rubenezer from Brookfield, Wisconsin. Ninth on the grid, K.P. Jones, starting inside the 5th row from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And 10th, the 1978 national champion, Don Courtney, racing out of Hialeah, Florida. As the field heads up through the S's on the pace lap, way back in 24th position is the defending national champion Formula Vee, Wayne Moore. Wayne, what are you doing so far back in the field?
Well, we had some qualifying trouble, and that we only had 1 lap of qualifying, therefore we didn't really have a chance to qualify, and that's where we're at.
Well, what's going to happen when the green flag drops? What's your game plan?
Well, I'm going to line them up on the back straightaway and the front straightaway and pick them off about 3 a lap, and that'll take me about 8 laps to catch the leaders, and then they better look out.
David Hobbs in a class as competitive as Formula Vee, it's awfully tough to climb through traffic from 24th spot.
It's going to be extremely difficult for him, and unless his car is overwhelmingly quicker than the other guys on the straight, he's not going to be able to pick any of these guys off. No one in this class wants to be picked off. There's 22 cars in here covered by less than 2 seconds.
Small single-seat open-wheel machines. They're based on Volkswagen Beetle engine and steering components with handmade or custom-made frames. These used to call these angry overshoes. And there is Wayne Moore back in 24th starting position. A long way to go from the 12th row.
There you see these guys warming up the tires. They all swerve around on the pace lap. This is trying to get some temperature into those tires. Now, as you can see, these Formula V's only have very small tires, So obviously they warm up quicker than the great big tires that we see on Can-Am cars. But even so, they want those tires hot when they take the flag on the first lap.
Don Pepperdene, Northern Pacific champion, is on the outside pole. He has not raced here this year, though. This is his 4th trip to Road Atlanta. In fact, these drivers coming from all over the country, many of whom have not competed head-to-head against each other all season long. It's their first opportunity, and here it is for the National Driving Championship in this class.
Well, of course, these National Driving Championship races down here at Road Atlanta are real knockdown, drag-out affairs. Some of these guys may have won 6 or 7 races in their region, but if they don't win this one, none of those points matter. The only thing those points were good for was to get them here in the first place. There's someone smoking back there.
An ominous sight, especially in an air-cooled machine like a Volkswagen engine car.
Yes, using a lot of oil. And there's the pace car pulling off. The car's coming down that last hill towards the start.
Coming down to take the green for the first of 18 laps. Green is on. And leading the charge to turn 1 is Ron Feeney. It'll be 3 wide heading for the first turn. Cut to the outside is Pepperdene. Into turn 1 and cutting across the line. That is Bill Noble out of Manhattan, Kansas, the car that caused the false start. But he has the lead heading up into the S's.
Bill Noble moved from extreme right to extreme left and back to extreme right again and made sure that no one got by him, and he's holding a good lead there.
Bill Noble bought turn number 1, and it gave him the lead. This is Noble coming up through the S's, leading Ron Feeney, the pole sitter. Pepperdene rides in the 3rd position as well. A little bit of tire smoke there, perhaps a bit of dust on the track. Heading for the hook at the far south end of the speedway. And you can see just how close the competition is on these Volkswagen-based machines. They are strung out single file, but close, David. The draft really has an effect even on cars at this speed.
Oh, it has a tremendous draft effect, and of course the ones at the back get more of a draft help than these guys up near the front, like 4th and 5th are getting sucked along not as quick as the guys who are lying 9th and 10th. So sometimes on these first laps, when they're very bunched up like this, you can find yourself going a lot faster than you think.
These cars have 1,200cc Volkswagen air-cooled engines, Volkswagen bug-type engines, right behind the driver's head. Bill Noble is the leader, moving out to pass Don Pepperdene, the outside pole sitter from Monterey, California, wanting a look at 2nd place, Ron Feeney. Feeney started on the pole and then 3 wide. 3 wide and a bit of dust kicked up there as Pepperdene just flat ran out of racing room.
He certainly did. Bill Noble made sure he ran out of room, but there he is going under the bridge side by side.
Coming down, using up a bit of the pit road as Noble takes a wide sweep down to the start-finish line, and is Noble the leader. Pepperdene is 2nd. Feeney is 3rd. 4th place car is Bill Pryor, number 19. He started back in the 5th position, and look at the bonsai charge to turn 1 again. Noble uses up all the possible racetrack right out to the grass to get the line through turn 1 and up the hill. Pepperdene doing a good job staying with him, as is Ron Feeney. The rest of the field has already begun to strung out significantly.
Well, I think you'll find that Ron Feeney, lying there in 3rd spot, has run off the pace slightly, and he is holding them up slightly.
Feeney has gone back to 4th position as Bill Pryor in car number 19 has moved to 3rd. But the battle is for the lead. As up front, Noble, driving out of Manhattan, Kansas, by trade. He builds engines for these Formula Vee cars, so this is a full-time profession for him, unlike many of the 600 drivers competing here this weekend. And he is really getting the pressure from Don Pepperdene, car number 13 out of Monterey, California, 34 years old, an office manager. In his professional life, he brings 3 victories to Road Atlanta. He's been here 3 times. He's finished no higher than 6th in the chase for the national championship, but he is keeping close tabs on Bill Noble as they come down the 5,000-foot stretch.
He drafts past him, in fact, going down that stretch, and now alongside him. In fact, he's pulled slightly ahead as they sweep down that long curve, leading down into the dreaded dip. Look at those other guys, 3 abreast. The one on the outside there getting into all the rolled up rubber and grit that's thrown to the side of the track.
For many years, Formula Vee has been known as one of, if not the most competitive classes in SCCA road racing. Pepperdene has the lead. Bill Noble rides in the 2nd spot, and moving back up to 3rd is the pole sitter Ron Feeney. In the 4th spot, car number 19, Bill Pryor, has moved up a notch. As they head for turn number 1, the battle again for the lead.
Car number 5 in the background there, John Hogdal. He's maintaining his grid position. He was gridded 6th. He's now in the 5th position.
Out of turn 1, the top 10 all running within about 2 seconds of one another. Not much of a gap when you still have some 15 laps to run. Up through the S's. Wayne Moore, who started 24th, has moved up to 17th position as he predicted, picking them off one at a time.
Well, at that rate, he's going to have to pick him off quicker than that if he wants to win this race, sir, because it's, as you can see, he's going to have a very tough job making his way past these front runners when he gets up to this front group. He's broken away quite substantially from car number 72 there, who is Tom Schweitz.
Moving toward the hook at the far south end of the speedway, still pretty much single file. You can see the rubber marks where the groove is here at Road Atlanta, and except for passing, they won't stray from that. Of course, you also see the red clay off to the right, where some drivers have gotten a little bit over-exuberant coming off of that corner.
I've never seen that clay quite so flat. It's not churned up at all. They've obviously been using this part of the roadway, and it's all flat and packed out like a clay tennis court.
Up front, Bill Noble started third, assumed the lead on the start. There's Pepperdene again, challenging for the lead at the end of the straightaway.
Hogdal dropped out of 5th place there, you see, and tried to take advantage of the number 2 car as he tried to go around the outside. There we see Noble.
Don
right
Pepperdene leading Noble as they come up the hill, looking for the bridge, and then again back towards the start-finish line underneath the Dotson Bridge. Long sweep, almost losing control was Pepperdene there.
Well, of course, with a little bit of the power they've got, they can go around that corner pretty high speed for them, pretty well flat out, and they use as much road as they can to reduce any tire scrub, so they do take a long, wide sweep if they can.
Noble looking for the lead, and Hogdal, the number 5 car, has moved up into the 3rd position. He has gone by pole sitter Ron Feeney. So John Hogdal of Ham Lake, Minnesota, car number 5, has moved from 6th all the way up to 3rd. Progress on Wayne Moore. He's picked off 4 more, David. He's up to the 13th spot.
Well, he's get there then. He's going to have his work cut out, as I say, but he's making good ground. That's 10 places in, what, 4 laps.
Pepperdene appears perhaps to have a different gear or perhaps a different type of horsepower curve somehow in his car. He's faster at the end of that straightaway, but he's also been faster through the S's than has Bill Noble, the driver that led the early few laps.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of changing of position here. Of course, all this changing of position at this point is rather superfluous. What happens on the last lap that really counts, but obviously these guys are practicing for that last lap bonsai effort, and it looks like it's going to go right down to the wire, too. There we see in the front Don Pepperdene.
Noble riding second,
right behind him.
And Hogdal in the 3rd spot, all in a tight draft. Feeney riding 4th, keeping close tabs on one another. And here is Noble moving to the outside of the racetrack. Same spot that Pepperdene got him 1 lap ago.
And Feeney trying to follow him back from 4th spot to go around the outside of Hogdal, which he's still attempting to do. He's done it. He's pulled it off. Hogdal's dropped back to 4th.
And moving up for the 5th position is Bill Pryor, who started in that spot along with Pryor comes car number 79. That will be Ford Smith of Roselle Park, New Jersey. Downhill, coming around to complete lap number 4, it is Noble in the lead. Pepperdene riding along in the 2nd position, and pole sitter Ron Feeney is 3rd. And here is Pepperdene moving to the inside, and half the pack follows him as they head for turn 1.
Now, you'd think that a bunch of guys who are racing neck and neck as desperately as these guys are was a bunch of youngsters. And in fact, the average age in this 35-car field is that. 35 years old. It's the average age of these drivers. And they're driving like a bunch of school kids.
Coming up through the S's, up the hill, Don Pepperdene has gone back in front for the 2nd time. Noble is in the 2nd position in the black and yellow racer. That is car number 00. 3rd, the red machine, belongs to Ron Feeney, 81. He started this race on the pole. Heading down for the hook at the south end of the speedway, single file. Not much passing here, David. Why in this part of the course?
Well, it's coming off turn 5 there. These cars are a little bit underpowered, and they're all just about working themselves flat out. This is a slight uphill section to start with, and they really haven't got much power left to do any overtaking along there.
Moving up now to the 4th position here, you see Ford Smith, the dark blue car, as off course is car number 53, Mike Gray of Raytown, Missouri, has found his way into the air wall that you see at the outside of the racetrack. That's energy absorbing, and he is limping away, though, under his own power. So out of the race is Mike Gray, driving a Lynx. As the leaders come around this gentle right-hander, they'll be looking for the bridge once again. And the battle now for 2nd place. Noble is in front, but Feeney is on your screen to the left of Pepperdine. Pepperdine hand in the air as he waves by car number 79, Ford Smith. So Pepperdine has dropped now to the 4th position as Smith continues to charge. He has moved up to 3rd.
I thought Pepperdine must have had some trouble there by lifting his arm like that, but apparently not. It was some sort of tactical maneuver, and there it goes again.
Ford Smith is on the charge, 79. He just got a hand signal from Feeney as they head out of turn number 1 up the hill, and off course, 33, Charles Proctor has spun at turn number 12, trying to fire that machine and get it back into the fray. coming up out of the S's. Distinctive by the yellow nose, and the black machine is Bill Noble of Manhattan, Kansas. That car is classified as a Lynx. That's the manufacturer of the chassis, though all these cars have Volkswagen engines. Riding in second, the pole-sitter Ron Feeney, and third now, Ford Smith of Roselle Park, New Jersey, waited through 3 laps to make his move, but he has come up from the 7th position to 3rd within the last 2 laps.
And that front 8 bunch, in fact the front 7, making a big break for it here, leaving car in 8th place on its own, and everybody else starting to trail away a bit. If they're going to stay in this hunt, they better reduce that gap and stay in there, otherwise they just won't have a chance towards the end of this race. And look at that close race. Come out of that turn number 7 at the far end of the back straightaway.
9 cars are in that lead draft. As you see the ambulance on the course taking the driver of car number 53, Mike Gray, back for a checkup at the infield care center. Unlike in stock car racing, the yellow flag, when it comes out, only waves at one corner, and the race goes on all the rest of the way around this 2.5-mile road course.
Well, that looked like some pretty doubtful passing there, though. There were people still passing each other as they passed the ambulance, and one of those cars had its wheels on the grass, which I don't think is all that smart a thing to do.
You see 7 cars now, all in line, coming back to the start-finish line to complete lap number 6. And at the head of the pack is Bill Noble, but he has lots of close company. As they go to turn 1, the pole-sitter, Ron Feeney. The red number 81 machine looks for the lead and outbreaks Noble into the turn and takes it back once again.
Well, this is a real cut and thrust affair. Here we see the crest of the hill at turn 3 as they swing through that sharp right-hander and accelerate all the way downhill down this long left-hander, which again swings right, and now they're dropping away quite a hill down here.
Wayne Moore, our defending national champion, is up to the 12th spot. The last time by could not improve that position.
Well, unfortunately, the group he's in now is separated. There's 7th place going by, and then you'll see quite a long gap behind. And if he gets into the front of the tail group, he's going to have an awful job to make up that gap on his own with no draft.
An 8-car breakaway. Coming into your screen 4th in that second group of cars is the machine of Wayne Moore, number 17, the defending national champion, Atlanta native. Back up to the front of the pack is going into the hook, taking the lead. There is Ron Feeney hanging on. The Noble had a shot at him, and a little off-course excursion there will cost a little bit of time on John Vanderkar of Amherst, New Hampshire.
There we see Wayne Moore doing some drafting.
And like you said, picking them off one at a time.
Yeah.
Moore looks like he'll get another spot here in the race for 11th position.
Wade Moore's judgment should be pretty good at this drafting.
But the race now comes back up front. Noble the leader, but 5, the yellow machine of John Hogdal, just gets aced out for 3rd spot. They are incredibly close as they now come back down the hill and around to complete lap number 7.
That is a very tricky spot, too, under that bridge, because the road's on the crest of a hill and the cars go light as they break into that corner. And the vision's bad. It's a blind corner. You're under the bridge, and there's a lot of jostling for position going on.
Pepperdene, who had his hand in the air a moment ago, waving someone on to pass, has apparently regained a bit of ground. He is in 3rd spot, and across the stripe, Wayne Moore completes this lap up in the 9th position. So he is just at the head of the 2nd pack of cars. There is Moore just moving out of the top of your screen as that 2nd pack comes by to give you an idea of the separation. Here are the front 8 running in one draft, and there comes the 2nd pack, led by our defending national champion.
Well, this is the thing. Can he pull up that gap now? There he is, as you say, heading that through. He pulled up 4 places since we last saw them go around that corner, but he's now got that whole gap to try and pull up on his own, which is going to be tough unless he can drag somebody else along to help him draft.
Nevertheless, it's been an incredible drive from 24th up to 9th position thus far. Back to the front of the field, Bill Noble in 00 leads this Formula Vee National Championship race. Ron Feeney is in the 2nd position. Don Pepperdene rides 3rd. All 3 of those cars started in the front 3, though not in those positions. This is Pepperdene moving to the inside, and we are 3 abreast. Down the straightaway, 3 wide for the lead, and look at everybody shuffle behind them as they fight for those 4th, 5th, and 6th positions.
Well, everybody's struggling there to get the best draft they can. A bit of a dodgy maneuver there from number 79, Ford Smith. A lot of jostling going on here. 13, Don Pepperdene leading. And there was somebody got pretty close to the edge of the road there on the apex.
All of this side-by-side racing will be of benefit to Wayne Moore in the back of the field. If he still has the draft off of the trailing cars, he'll be able to pick up some precious time on the front of the field.
It's, of course, the more they jostle amongst themselves, the slower they will go.
And Moore is indeed gaining time. The separation has dwindled between the 1st and 2nd packs. This hard charger is a far different person than Jim Hutto found when he visited the Moores at home last week.
Racing is a family affair, and the national champion Wayne Moore, just how much involvement did your wife particularly have in your racing efforts?
Well, total involvement on her part. She's a Firestone dealer. She sells racing tires only for Firestone at all national, regional driver school events for the Sports Club of America. And, of course, there's some profit involved in that, and there's a lot of expense and time on her part required. So she's totally involved.
How involved are your children in this? Do you think they really miss anything from your racing involvement?
We have 2 children, 10 and 13. They go to the track. The little boy helps me, knows the wrench sizes, and is quite a little help around the house.
Let's find out something about Formula Vee and how this thing's made, Wayne. I suppose you'd have to say that aerodynamics is maybe the most important part. Would you say that?
You've got to have the handling. Primary aerodynamics comes later, and you develop that later generally on a car. And then, of course, the rest up to the engine and the driver.
Tell us something about the way the engine is put together. How does it differ from the street Volkswagen engine?
Okay, the engine costs $3,500 now for a brand new engine. And the reason it costs so much, it's a heavily massaged engine. The crankshaft is lightened to 16 pounds. All the rods are lightened. All the pistons are lightened. Some of the valve lifters are lightened, and the heads are changed dramatically, and they alone cost $800 a set. So you can see it's the labor that goes into that engine. Making it fast is what costs the money. The parts are all stock Volkswagen replacement parts. You can buy them any place.
Right in here, connected to your roll protection, you've got bars in here. Tell us about this, and let's look at it on the new model here, or the new framework you've got.
Okay, this frame was designed by Ed Zink, and with one thing in mind, and that was to beat everything on the track through the valley and to the bridge at Road Atlanta. The gas tank sets here, the body sets in here. All the other parts of the car are extremely light, and even the engine sets in that line. So what we've got here is a center of gravity on a race car that is 5 inches below its axles and within 6 inches of the frame center line. Okay, that gives it probably a lower center of gravity and more inboard center of gravity than any other Formula V that's being produced today.
After speaking with Wayne Moore at length, my curiosity arose as to why a career man, as a professional airline pilot, would risk possible injury and dedicate the hours of time it takes to be an SCCA race car driver. I had to ask him why.
I enjoy doing it. It's a lot of hard work, and it's hard to explain, really. When you win a national championship, and 2 days later you wonder, my God, why didn't I do that sooner? That wasn't all that hard. But for the previous 10 years, it's been totally impossible. So, but that's one of the feelings you get, and it kind of freaks you out to feel that way. That's just like walking. Once you learn how to do it, you ought to be able to do it every time. But obviously, not very many people do it every time.
Wayne Moore has chopped the margin from the leaders from 9 down to 5.5 seconds. Mainly by benefit of the leaders jostling for position, Moore has been able to keep those cars behind him in a tight draft.
Well, that slowed them up, and you also notice he's dragged a couple of other guys along with him, which is giving him the advantage of their draft and vice versa. So that helps them to keep going at good speed and cut this gap down. If they don't do too much jostling amongst themselves, they'll catch up with this group.
Don Pepperdene continues to lead, moving to the left, right to the edge of the racetrack. That will be Ron Feeney in 81, who is looking for second spot, and squeezing his way to the front is Bill Pryor in car number 19 out of Carmel Valley, California. Pryor becomes the 4th driver to lead, and John Hogdal almost gets off the racetrack in car number 5. Under the bridge, Bill Pryor is the new leader, and squeezing up into second is Bill Noble in 00. The black car with the yellow nose. John Hogdal, number 5, has gone to 3rd, and Feeney and Pepperdene have gone back to 4th and 5th positions.
And Noble's taking away the lead again.
Bill Noble back up front as things continue to change quickly. Wayne Moore has chopped another second.
Oh,
off the
there's
lead.
somebody spun. That's car number 35.
John Vanderkar of Amherst, New Hampshire, driving a Caldwell, a Vanderkar Racing entry off the course. Got it on Bill. As fires got back underway. Bill Noble is back up front. The Manhattan, Kansas driver has not been to Road Atlanta so far this season.
Wayne Moore has broken away from his opposition and is now very close to the back of this 8-car lead bunch.
Stay tuned. We'll be back to Road Atlanta after these messages.
It is an 8-car race now, a 8-car race with 5, 81, 19,
Almost unbelievably, Wayne Moore has caught the lead draft of 8 cars. That is phenomenal. With these cars being so evenly matched that he has climbed up to the field and now runs only 2.5 seconds behind the leader in what has become a 9-car draft.
Well, now he's going to have to keep his head and keep his wits about him as he tries to weigh up through the group, obviously arriving at the head of the group in 7 laps time to try and race.
Right now, slower car laps well away. These little cars are more tail draft as they head towards the hook. Single file, having a look a bit back in the field as we await the leader coming out of the hook, south end of the race course. It is John Hogdal once again. Hogdal in car number 5 has led this last lap. Bill Pryor is in the 2nd spot. We're in lap 12. In 3rd is Bill Noble. And there's the defending national champ, Wayne Moore, who came up from 24th to 9th position.
Wayne, of course, is from Atlanta, so he may get a bit of practice out here at Road Atlanta, but he's doing a very good job at the moment. As those cars spread down that straight, 2, 3, 4 abreast, down into the bottom of this dip. Absolutely flat out, these cars through there. Flat out all the way up this hill. And probably not very hard braking under this bridge.
And Moore has moved up, David. I believe he's in the 6th position as they'll come to the start-finish line. The leader is Bill Noble. Coming around turn number 12. And Moore has indeed picked up a couple of spots. There he works the draft to the left of your screen, coming into turn number 1. To the extreme left, cuts way inside at turn 1. Pepperdene will have the lead. But Wayne Moore has gone to 4th position. I'm impressed and surprised.
I'm very surprised. I just didn't think he'd be able to do it. When he got left out on the limb with that trailing group, I didn't think he'd be able to make up that ground. But he's done a fantastic job. And his car must be running very, very well indeed.
Well, you heard Wayne Moore's game plan. He qualified well back, only getting 1 lap of qualifying in, but he has forged to the front. He's gone by the pole sitter. And moving front, Sweeney, the pole sitter, car number 81. Something has gone adrift on pit road.
Well, he did say to them, well, Wayne Moore did say to them before the race that he'd get up and he'd bunch and then they better watch out. Well, now they're really watching out now.
Pepperdene, the leader, and the 00 of Bill Noble in 2nd, and look who's riding 3rd. Defending national champ Wayne Moore. In the 4th spot is Bill Pryor, the blue car number 19.
5th is John Hogdal, who has led this race, been 5th, being 10th, and having another go on the inside there, aiming for that sod on the inside, which he likes so much.
Bill Noble gets the lead back from Don Pepperdene, heading up towards the 1 turn that will lead to the bridge, and the infighting in 3rd, 4th, 5th spot is extremely tight. Under the bridge, coming downhill, back towards the start-finish line. Noble goes over the bump strips. Single file. Back to the stripe, but the charge, they'll fan out again as they head for turn number 1. Single file. Watch for the break. There it goes, and it's Moore. Off to the left side, gunning for 2nd spot against Don Pepperdene. Has the inside line and takes 2nd position away. From 24th to 2nd spot in one of the most competitive classes in road racing in 13 laps. Wayne Moore has just been announced as setting an official lap record for the Formula Vee class. This is his home racetrack. He has run 6 times in national races this year. He has had the pole for all 6 of those events, but he's finished only 1. It was right here at Road Atlanta, and he won it back in June.
Well, no doubt he's hoping for a replay of that race. If he can win this, it'll be a 2-time national champion, which in this class of racing is very, very difficult to do. It's so competitive.
Moore's had 2 flat tires this season among those 6 races. He broke a flywheel once. He broke a steering box. And he said going into this race, he's used up all of his bad luck this season. Well, that remains to be seen. With 13 laps completed, when they come by this time, there will be 4 laps to go. David, is it too early to begin setting up your last lap strategy?
It is really. Last lap strategy in these cars with this sort of power really needs to be done about 2/3 of the way around the last lap. The crucial point for these guys is going to be that turn under the bridge, and there we see Wayne Moore taking the lead of this race for the first time.
Moore is up front, and the jostling is all behind him. Noble, Hogdal, and Pepperdene are fighting it out now for second spot. Downhill into the start-finish line, and Noble, or rather Moore, who has come from 24th, now enjoys the biggest lead of the afternoon, as these cars have just run nose to tail all through this race. Moving to the inside, Pepperdene tries to climb back up into the second spot, takes it away from Hogdal.
Well, of course, if Wayne Moore has pulled up from 24th spot like he did, he transversed that gap between the first and the second main groups all on his own. There's every possibility that his car and himself are so superior that they could just drive. There is a possibility that he could just drive away. It's unlikely, but it could happen.
The last driver to win back-to-back national championships in this division, Bill Campbell, back in 1966 and 1967. Since that time, no one has even repeated and won, or rather Mike Frankheiser won 2 championships, but they came in 75 and 77, a year apart. Lead cars down on the hook at the south end of the speedway. Wayne Moore leads Bill Noble, coming into this long 5,000-foot ribbon of asphalt that is the back straightaway here at Road Atlanta. A 10-turn race course, 8 to the right, 2 to the left. 5 of them make up this long backstretch that the drivers treat as a straightaway. Pep goes to the inside, or rather outside, takes Hogdal with him. Still in the straightaway, trying to move past Wayne Moore with the advantage of the draft, but they split 3 wide. Breaking the draft, it is Noble going to the front of the field once again. And Wayne Moore, the leader, drops back to 4th.
Well, that's what can happen to you. And the thing to watch, of course, is that that does not happen on the last lap. Unless, of course, you're Bill Noble, and that's exactly what you want to happen on the last lap.
15 complete, 3 laps to go in one of the most road racing classics, Formula Vee. Here at Road Atlanta to the side, the national driving champion. Noble takes a wide line from turn number 1 with Don Pepperdene, the California driver. In second, John Hogdal, that yellow car from Minnesota, rides 3rd, and 4th, defending national champion. In car number 17, the purple machine, that is Wayne Moore from here in Atlanta.
Well, now, one thing that will be going on now is, of course, their pit signs will be showing them mainly how many laps to go. Positions won't matter. They can see where they are. Times don't matter. It doesn't matter what time they're doing. But laps to go is what is absolutely crucial. So they'll be getting the countdown now with 3 laps to go. They'll be thinking about it, but there's not much they can do about it at this stage.
And the battle has begun to develop. The front 4 have broken away from what was a 7-car draft. Now there are 4 contesting for the lead.
In that back 3 cars, actually, is Don Courtney, who's a previous national champion. I thought he might be a bit of a sleeper in this race, but unfortunately things haven't worked. There he is in the red car at the back of the group. Things don't seem to have worked out quite as well as they might have done for him.
For the past 3 laps, these 4 cars have traded the lead back and forth. Bill Noble in 00. At the front of the field, running second, Don Pepperdene. That blue number 13 machine, John Hogdal, car number 5. Yellow machine, yellow helmeted driver, now moves back to the inside, and it'll be 2 by 2. Coming around this right-hand sweeper. Noble to your right, and on the left of the screen is John Hogdal, and look at how tight the drafting is. The infighting back and forth. Wayne Moore goes to the left side, and they leave Hogdal cutting the berm off onto the pit road and cutting back to turn number 12. It is Noble again, and the order goes back to single file unchanged. Noble leading Pepperdene, who works to the inside, and now things begin to get serious. With only 2 laps to go, Don Pepperdene goes to the inside and takes the lead from Bill Noble at turn number 1. John Hogdal is in the 3rd position, and Wayne Moore, who led and opened up about a 5-car length advantage, has dropped to the 4th position.
And that trailing 3 cars has caught up with them again. All that last lap shenanigans we just saw definitely slowed our front group up, allowing the original 3 guys to regroup with them. So maybe this is going to turn back into another 7-car draft on the last lap, and we could see a surprise even yet.
Even here at Road Atlanta with these 10 tight, or rather 12 tight turns. Just like super speedway racing, if you break the draft and race to the lead, everybody else is going to come catching up through the field.
That's right. It just can't be. It's very, especially in these low-powered cars, it just can't be done.
7 cars in the lead draft, and any one of them has a strong shot to win the national Formula Vee driving title. Just moments from now, 16 laps complete. Coming around to complete the 17th is your leader, Don Pepperdene. The blue trimmed in red and white machine. There is Wayne Moore from Atlanta. He is in the 4th position on his home racetrack where he won the national title a year ago. Noble works to the outside and retakes the lead. There goes Moore to the outside. The shuffling begins in earnest now with just a little over a lap to go.
And fifth, right behind Moore, is, Moore actually taking it. Oh, and they nudged wheels there as they went to that dip. I'm sure that the right rear of Wayne Moore just nudged Noble's front.
It got Moore the lead. 1 lap to go. As they come to the start-finish line, it is Wayne Moore, the defending champion, leading Bill Noble. The 13 of Don Pepperdene and the 5 of John Hogdal, heading for turn 1.
Well, now, of course, this is the big bone of contention. Is it best to lead on the last lap, or is it best to lie back? It's one of those things that Buddy Baker has problems thinking out, and, of course, a lot of these drivers have the same. You just can't rely on anything. The thing to do is just go for the checker here. If you're lying in second place, it's sometimes better. But
off course, that's Moore. Off course, cutting his way across the S's, coming back up onto the speedway. And Noble has the lead. It is Noble and Pepperdene, Hogdal. And you can see that Moore lost a bit of time getting back up to speed. He is back to the 4th position. A costly off-course excursion for Wayne Moore as they come up through the S's.
Well, that's probably cost him the race. He's dropped back. I don't think he can make it up that far down.
Remember, he has a lot of power, and that 5,000-foot back straight is coming up.
But he did have a nasty cross-country excursion there. He may have deranged his suspension somewhat.
Coming out of the backstretch, it is Noble, Pepperdene, Hogdal, and Moore. The 5th place car appears to be car number 81, riding in the 5th spot. That is Ron Feeney. No, that would not be Feeney. We'll double-check that for you.
I think it's 61. I think it's Don Courtney.
That would be Courtney, the former national champion. In 5 of the last 6 years, the driver who has led under the bridge has not won this race. Hogdal on the left in yellow. Wayne Moore on the right reassumes the lead. Pepperdene is 3rd. There is Noble moving up into the 3rd spot. Courtney is 5th. Look at the battle here as they come around and head for the bridge. And heading for home, it is Wayne Moore. Stretching it out. 6 car length advantage. Noble is 2nd. Hogdal 3rd. Don Courtney will finish in the 4th spot.
Well, I must say, it makes you wonder about the power that Wayne Moore had under his sap there. To pull up from that far down and win the length of one straightaway and then lead by that far over the grid. It really makes you wonder how much power he has.
Well, the man who built that engine is the 2nd place finisher, Bill Noble. His engine powers the first 2 cars across the line. John Hogdal's up 3rd. Don Courtney moves to 4th. And Don Pepperdene back to 5th, all between the bridge and the checkered flag. The 6th place finisher is Ford Smith, with Scott Rubenezer winding up 7th, Tom Schwelch 8th, Bill Pryor 9th, and Zen Smith in the 10th spot. We'll be back to take a look at that last lap in just a moment.
For Wayne Moore on the last lap, coming round turn 3, gets it wide, gets onto that grass, and it's rough out there. Disappears behind the trees and miraculously comes back in 3rd spot, close on this side of the track. And even more amazingly, he makes that up, and he's right with the leaders as they come down the back straight for the last time, retakes the lead as they go down the dip. John Hogdal, car number 5, is right behind him as they come up to that last crucial break under the bridge. Hogdal makes a dive. Wayne Moore has the line and also has the race as Noble takes away 2nd spot from Hogdal right as they come up to the line. And Wayne Moore takes a checkered flag and the national championship for the 2nd time in his Formula Vee racing. And there's a very happy Doris Moore, his wife. Okay, Wayne, you told us before the race started you were going to win it. Did you really think you could do it from 24th spot?
Well, I knew I could do it. A little tougher than I thought it was going to be. I thought I'd catch him a little bit sooner, but I guess I just didn't get it on until about the last 9 laps.
Well, you caught up dramatically. Then on the last lap, you made a terrible mistake, went off the road, which we have in living colour, and dropped right back. Did you really think you'd lost it then?
Well, you never know once you leave the road how you're going to get back. But once I got back there and survived getting back on the pavement okay, I figured I had a shot at him. I just had to get through 6 and 7 a little faster than they were, and I could catch them, and that's exactly what happened.
Well, it was a tremendous finish, Wayne, a tremendous race coming from 24th spot. Now, are you going to promise me you're not going to fly those jets like you drive those cars?
I certainly hope not. I don't know if I do.